July 22nd, 2022 Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting is now in session. It is noted for the record that commissioners are attending this meeting via web meeting. Chair Sathoff is excused, and a quorum of commissioners is present for today's meeting. Today's meeting is being live streamed on the internet, and the link is posted on the Oregon Lottery website. Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Here.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Here.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Here.
Members of the public have the opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for this meeting. Will the clerk please inform the commissioner who else is in the meeting?
Yes, we have Director Barry Pack, Andrea Valdez, Kathy Ortega, Carrie Hemphill, Chris Scaro, Christy Comas, Mike Wells, Sar Richards, Ty Calandrello, Wendy Johnson, and Kathy Stromberg.
Thank you. Members of the public had the opportunity to provide written public comment to the commission for this meeting. Can the clerk please confirm that no public comment was received?
That is correct. We did not receive any public comment this month.
Thank you. Now we'll go on to Commissioner Communications. Looks like there's no Commissioner Communications. Now we'll move on to the Director's report.
Thank you, Chair Patel. I have a very brief report this month. Two pieces of lottery news that are points of celebration. We learned this week that lottery achieved level 4 certification from the World Lottery Association for our responsible gambling program for the second time. The WLA level 4 certification is the highest level of responsible gaming certification recognized internationally. We were one of the first 8 lotteries in the United States to reach this level, and the only lottery with video lottery and sports betting in their portfolio. Submissions are reviewed by the WLA's International Panel of Corporate Social Responsibility Experts. Lotteries that receive a WLA level 4 certification demonstrate that responsible gaming principles are part of day-to-day operations and that they are continuously strengthening efforts to promote responsibility among players. The lottery is incredibly proud of its commitment to responsible gaming. The recertification by the WLA is a testament to the strength of our best-in-class program. Next, our Senior Manager for Product Marketing, Stacy Shaw, besides having a huge part in our WLA certification, was recently elected to the Board of Directors for the Responsible Gambling Council of Canada. She attended her first board meeting last month in Toronto. The Responsible Gambling Council of Canada is an independent nonprofit organization dedicated to problem gambling prevention, whose board of directors comprises professionals with deep and broad expertise in public policy, community service, problem gambling, addiction treatment, and more. Stacy will be the first board member from the United States in the council's 40-year history. Congratulations to Stacy. I know you will do good work. Our product teams are here today to give you the quarterly sales updates, so I'll skip any of that this month and just conclude with some winner stories. Vernon Bengarel of Silverton has a surprise for his wife. Vernon won the $70,000 top prize playing the 777 Scratch It while his wife was on a trip with friends. Usually a Keno player, Vernon bought his winning Scratch It ticket at the Safeway in Stayton. His plans for his prize, in addition to surprising his wife, Vernon has a new guitar on his list, along with paying some bills. And finally today, Jamie McKinney of Westford knew her lucky day was coming, and that day was July 13, when she learned she'd won $50,000 in the lottery's second chance drawing. Jamie is sure to enter her non-winning Scratch-Its into the lottery's second chance drawings. In addition to the big prize she won, Jamie loves how easy it is to enter her tickets on the lottery's app. Jamie plans to pay off some debt and head to the coast for a nice, relaxing getaway. She bought her Joker's Wild Scratch It. She entered into the drawing at the Center Market in Oak Ridge. Congratulations to Jamie. And Mr. Chair, that concludes my report for this month.
Thank you. The minutes of the previous commission meeting have been circulated to the commission in advance of today's meeting. If there are no changes to the minutes, is there a motion to approve?
I move that the minutes of the Oregon State Lottery Commission meeting held on June 24th, 2022 be approved as final as presented today.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
For the record, the motion has passed. And now we will move on to the financial review.
Yes, good morning, Chair Patel, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Kathy Ortega, Chief Financial Officer for the Oregon Lottery, and we're here to go over the preliminary financials for the month and year ended June 30th, 2022. Just as a reminder, these are still in draft form as we are in the process of closing our books for the fiscal year. And I will not be seeking approval for these today. I will be seeking approval for them at next month's commission meeting. Having said that, if we could go to the operating statement for the month of June, we have net revenue of 112.9 on a budget of 111 million, 1.9 million favorable to budget. Commissions are favorable because we have favorable revenue variances. The game vendor charges was a budgeting issue that I brought up and discussed last month and will continue to be on the books this year. Advertising and sales support are timing differences. Salaries, benefits, and wages are attributable to all of the PERS issues that came up this fiscal year, which we previously discussed, and net profit of 72.7 million on a budget of 74.5 is 1.8 million under budget. Looking at the year to date, we have net revenue of 1.4 billion on a budget of 1.4 billion, about $14 million over budget for the year. Commissions reflect the catch up on our allocation methodology, and game vendor charges is what we previously discussed, as is the salaries, benefits, and wages line. We have net profit of 968.8 on a budget of 908.5 million or 60.4 million, excuse me, favorable to budget. Turning to the services and supplies page, we have some timing differences under travel and facilities, but are still under budget for the year. Fleet expense, and that include other services and supplies. Fleet expenses, the variance is attributable to all of the rising gas prices that we've and everyone has experienced. I have the balance sheet for you here today to take a look at. And at this time, I'd entertain any questions that you may have if there's something you'd like to know more about. Having said that, that concludes my report today, and we can move on to the next item on the agenda.
Thank you, Kathy. Next is rulemaking.
Thank you, Chair Patel, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Chris Scaro, Rules and Policy Analyst for Lottery, and I have 3 rulemaking updates this month for the Commission. First, want to let the Commission know we've completed the public rulemaking process for amending our NSF rule. We had proposed back in May to amend the rule to provide a timeline for retailers to submit documentation that a bank error caused an NSF. For the record, we filed notice with the Secretary of State on May 26th. We notified interested parties, legislators, and media contacts as required by law. We also emailed all lottery retailers to make them aware of the change. We provided 4 weeks for the public to submit written comment, and we held a virtual rulemaking hearing. We did receive one written comment, which I'll summarize briefly for the record. Comment from a retailer who recommended increasing the time allowed to 20 or 30 days, asked us to explain what documents are required in the rule, or alternatively not requiring documentation at all. The retailer wanted us to be aware of staffing constraints that retailers are facing. And we certainly appreciate the concern. And in response to this comment, we did recommend increasing the time allowed in the rule from 5 business days to 7 business days. This allows lottery to resolve NSFs quickly, which is important to us, but also makes sure a retailer has a full work week to contact their bank. Additionally, lottery personnel who speak to retailers after an NSF occurs will explain what documents are required, which is typically a simple statement from the bank explaining the error. And for those retailers who need more time, we do have the option under the rule to request an exception. Director Pack has reviewed the rule and recommends the commission adopt it as is presented in your meeting materials today to be effective on August 1st. So happy to talk about that more, but otherwise you should have a motion if you're ready.
Are there any questions? Is there a motion to adopt the proposed rulemaking?
I move that OAR 177-040-0052 be amended as presented in the meeting materials today, effective August 1st, 2022.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Commissioner Patel,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramirez,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilcox,
Aye.
For the record, the motion is passed.
Thank you. And Chair, I have 2 more quick items. So we had our internal work group review our policies and practices relating to missing and stolen scratch-it tickets, and the work group recommended a housekeeping update to our rule on that topic. The rule refers to a loss value threshold of $200, but that should be $150. That'll cover all packs of scratch-it tickets. So more details about that change are in the meeting materials for those who are interested, and I'll plan to report back to the commission when the rulemaking process is complete. And then lastly, we're proposing to clarify our second chance drawing rules. This is our promotion where you can enter a non-winning ticket into a drawing for a second chance to win a prize. We'd like to provide more ways for players to win. So we might do additional drawings or offer smaller prizes in addition to our top prize. So it does require some edits to our rules, and those are in the meeting materials for those who are interested. And again, I'll report back to you after the rulemaking process is complete. So happy to answer questions, but that is all I have for you this month.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Now, next we have staff updates.
Good morning, Chair Patel, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Tina Erickson, and I am the manager of the lottery product portfolio. If you'll give me a moment, I'll be doing the PowerPoint presentation. So just bear with me as I get this all set up and ready to go. I have 2 screens, so it's going to take a moment to swap these out for the presentation to work. And it doesn't want to work. Let me try this again. All right. There we go. So I'm hoping everyone can see the screen. Elisa, can you see that?
Yes, it looks great.
All right. So this morning, we're going to go through the product performance for our Q4 of business year 22. We're going to start with the lottery products update. And for this information, just wanted to share some highlights on how the sales are doing. So for this quarter, you'll see that sales were just under 38 million. And so that is a decrease year over year by about 25%. I wanted to draw your attention to the graph that shows the sales and transfers, actuals and forecast. In the past, we've always waited for OEA to share the actual transfer information. And by doing that, it really required us to kind of wait till the last minute in order to complete this presentation. Moving forward, what we will be doing is we're going to be using the prize payout for actual transfer amounts. And according to our analytics and insights team, this will be accurate to within about a couple of $1,000s. I also wanted to highlight celebrating state parks. It was a cooperative effort with the state parks folks celebrating their 100 years. And as a beneficiary, we had this great opportunity to develop a $5 game that actually is selling very well. The one thing that is different about this game is that it's our first game that we've used high definition symbols. And I have a little snapshot here. These symbols are a lot easier to see. Generally, when we are doing symbols that are just numbers, we have not done the high definition, but because these have unique symbols, it created more ease for the customer to be able to say, oh, I won this amount, or I'm not a winner and I'm going to enter second chance. Some highlights for this last quarter is that our average ticket purchase price is about $3.77. So that is up a little bit from last quarter. We also are still seeing that our most popular price points, of course, are the 5, 10, and 20. The other little note that I have here is just kind of the major difference between last business year, Q4, and this year. And really, there was the stimulus checks that were going out due to COVID. And so we see some of that difference now as those sales are leveling off. Are there any questions about the Scratchits? Okay. Oh, one thing I did forget to mention, year over year, for the complete year, Scratchit sales were about $163 million, and that was almost 17% down. Moving on to Keno. Again, Keno sales were actually up this quarter year over year. And again, that had to do with us being able to have sales statewide instead of in certain segments when the VLTs were shut down at restaurants. Again, Keno has an 8-spot rolling jackpot, and that definitely drives sales. So this last quarter, we saw jackpots in the $65,000 range up to almost $80,000. So anytime those jackpots roll up, we see sales spike. The ending year-to-date figures, we were at about $112 million, and that put us at 13% year over year. Any questions on this slide? And finally, we've got our jackpot games. Again, jackpots drive these sales. So you'll see, the sales for the quarter were about 28 million, which is a decrease of about 29%. And that was, again, based on our lower jackpots for Mega Millions and Powerball. We did end the year with Powerball at about $57 million, and then Mega Millions at 25 million, and Powerball, Mega Bucks at about 30 million in sales. Some of the highlights for this last quarter, Powerball came in at $545 million jackpot. So that drove sales in the April timeframe. Mega Millions at the end of June was at 333 million, but that jackpot has continued to roll. And today we're looking at a $660 million for jackpot for Mega Millions. And the Mega Bucks had a nice little jackpot of 6 million in May. So any questions here? All right, I will move on, and SAR, you're up.
Thank you, Tina. Good morning, Chair Patel, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Sarah Richards. I am the manager of video gaming products, and it's my pleasure to present the Video Lottery quarterly and year-end updates. Oops. For the year, we ended roughly 45% over the previous business year, coming in at just over 1.2 billion compared to 855 million the year before. For the quarter, we're up 1% to 315 million. The large drivers for the increases continue to be our game launches. We talked about Big City 5's Diamond at the last meeting, and it continues to perform well. This quarter, we launched 2 games, Three Kings and Americana, onto one of the 2 lowest performing terminals, our E20, which really helped boost its performance. We're also continuing our replacement of older terminals, obsolete terminals, specifically the V32, replacing them with the Helix and Crystal Dual, which are 2 very good performers with great game sets, continuing to help us rise that revenue number. And then, of course, going back, we do have that post-COVID wave of players coming in at the beginning of the year that has we've been able to ride through the entire year. And that's video really quickly in a nutshell. We had a great year. We had a great quarter. Are there any questions for video? Well, hearing none, I'm going to turn it over to Carrie for the sports betting update.
Good morning, Chair Patel, Commissioners, Director Pack. For the record, my name is Carrie Hemphill, Sports Betting Product Manager. I'm here today to give you the sports betting product update for the last quarter. I did want to mention, as I did in my previous commission meeting, that the sports product is still in the middle of the platform transition with both the scoreboard platform and DraftKings Sportsbook platform active. For clarity, Scoreboard is active in a scaled down skeleton capacity. The platform does not accept new wagers, but it does exist to keep active any previously placed open wagers, which are placed before the platform transition back in January, in which those open wagers will remain on that Scoreboard platform until they settle. And once they settle, any winning player funds are then transferred out of Scoreboard and paid to the players. The sports product team is actively monitoring the sunsetting of these open bets and the traction as we edge closer towards officially closing Scoreboard. Right now, it's business as usual with letting those wagers play out and settle. With that said, the DraftKings Sportsbook is fully active and provides the full-scale sports product with all the new wagers being placed within its platform. With that in mind, Q4, the last quarter we had, was the first full quarter of new bet placement exclusively on the DraftKings Sportsbook platform. And we experienced a significant jump in year-over-year numbers. So looking at the slide for the quarter, margins were good at 9.5%, generating 11.3 million in gross gaming revenue, which was an increase of approximately 3.6 million over Q4 of 2021. As you can see on the slide, the last quarter brought year-over-year increases in number of bets, up 69%. Turnover was up 51%, and unique active players was up 53%. We also saw the number of registrations on the DraftKings platform double that of the number that we had last year on Q4 on the Scoreboard platform. The improved functionality of the DraftKings Sportsbook, along with the expanded betting options and fresh promotions, all provided an improved customer experience over Scoreboard and contributed to the growth. Looking at sport interest, basketball and baseball were the primary drivers of the quarter, making up for over 67% of turnover and 66% of GGR. I just want to highlight a little bit of that with data because it's pretty nice. Basketball was the clear leader with 50.8 million in turnover. and 5.2 million in GGR. As impressive as these numbers are, basketball did lag other sports in year-over-year growth, which was the result of the NBA adjusting back to a more traditional schedule with fewer games falling in the quarter than last year. But even with this disparity, basketball still managed to produce increases over Q4 of 2021, even with less than half the games played in the quarter. Baseball, which gives a good perspective of growth potential when comparing like schedules, posted very impressive year-over-year numbers. A couple to highlight: the number of bets for baseball over the quarter was up 155%. Turnover was up 112%, and unique active players were up 84%. The increased betting options I mentioned in functionality advancement a few minutes ago really stood out for baseball, with micro style betting proposition wagers, which are those like next pitch, next at bat, those type of wagers really had a positive impact on the numbers. And not to limit growth to just those two sports, I want to highlight soccer posted great increases. Major League Soccer, with the Portland Timbers getting the most play from Oregonians. Ice hockey, similar to baseball, saw tremendous growth in the quarter. This year, we had the addition of the Seattle Kraken to the NHL, which generated solid interest from Oregonians. And then finally, mixed martial arts, or MMA, continues to perform very well. High-profile UFC fight cards are producing major spikes in interest, with registrations and betting volume jumping significantly during these events. As we look ahead, baseball is going to be the primary sport, but the sports product team is knee-deep in planning and preparation, focused on gearing up for the NFL season, which begins in September. It should be an exciting time coming up to see the NFL growth as DraftKings ramps up the advertising and promotional activity in both market and national campaigns. Finally, I do want to highlight one large platform improvement that we're getting to at the end of this quarter, and actually the end of this month coming up to, around W2Gs. Players receive a printed and mailed W2G following each single sports bet winning occurrence that hits the applicable threshold. Under the scoreboard platform, lottery staff bore the brunt of the labor, as they were the ones monitoring activity daily, printing, mailing, along with all their other lottery tasks. With the move to DraftKings and the known expectation that the workload would largely increase based on the expected positive product growth, we worked with DraftKings to automate the process and remove the manual work from our internal team. Instead, we solicited the assistance from DAS's publishing and distribution, who are secure and well-equipped to handle the sensitive information, production, and mailing. And starting later this month, we will be able to officially kick off the project, providing a monthly cadence of W2G mailings out to players. So the automation is a welcome improvement that we've been working on over the last quarter. And with that, I'm ending the sports betting update. Any questions?
Just a real quick one on the Q1 23 forecast. Why is that a drop? Is that related to what sports are active in that time frame?
Q1 2023 forecast.
Yeah, so it drops from Q4 to Q1, and then it comes back up again.
Yeah, so Q1 would be July through September. So it's natural seasonality of the sport. So if we look at it right now, once NFL kicks off later in September, we will get that bump of football again, and then basketball slowly following. Right now, we're kind of, if you look at the seasons, we're kind of at the low end of sports being played, not to mention the schedules were a little wonky last year. So it did play into account of the numbers coming in.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Good morning, Chair Patel, Lottery Commissioners, and Director Pack. For the record, my name is Andrea Valdez, and I'm the Digital Marketing Supervisor for the Oregon Lottery. I'm here today to share our most recent marketing campaign and some background on our partnership with the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department. And to begin, I'd like to share the video ad that we've created for broadcast TV, streaming, and digital platforms.
It's been 100 years of playing in Oregon state parks. There, there, and there. And it all brought us here. Just like playing here brings us to maintaining land there, and more inclusive recreation there, because funds from lottery games help support Oregon state parks. And that's a win for everyone. Celebrate 100 years of Oregon state parks with Oregon Lottery.
Apologies for a little bit of the buffering there, but we're quite proud of how that spot turned out. Our State Park Centennial campaign began June 6th and will conclude early next month on August 5th. It's a unique blended campaign. As Tina mentioned earlier, we had the opportunity to work with our commemorative State Park scratch-it ticket and work very closely with the Oregon Parks and Recreation Department to create a kind of level of synergy that is pretty rare for us, linking product and beneficiary this way. With all of those pieces to connect, it was very important for us to have a clear communication strategy as a major focus so that we could strike the right balance of promoting the scratch-it ticket, as well as highlighting the benefits of lottery funding and celebrating the centennial for state parks. We share a strong partnership with Parks and Recreation, and no exception in this campaign. We worked very closely to bring this campaign to life and to highlight the things that were important to lottery as well as state parks. So the main theme for this campaign we called From There to Here, which was really a natural way of exploring the 100 years of state parks from its inception, the introduction of lottery funding through voter approval, and the state of parks today, highlighted especially an effort for more inclusive and accessible spaces. We know that Oregonians really care about state parks. It currently regularly tops the list of beneficiaries that Oregonians report they would like to learn more about. So far, we've had very positive feedback on social media and our other one-to-one channels on this campaign effort. And we're pretty excited about this because we do know that campaigns like these efforts contribute greatly to the, I think it's about 77% approval rating of Oregon Lottery that was reported in the most recent Brand Promise survey. On our website, which was featured through a lot of these campaign efforts, we created several web stories that highlight specific state parks that are featured on the scratch-it tickets and other parks of note that give our visitors deeper insights and unique information about the parks, and all throughout, of course, nodding to the ways that lottery funding helps preserve and maintain our breathtaking natural Oregonian spaces. Again, this campaign is still ongoing, but so far we've had over 175,000 total page visits to pages that are being promoted through this campaign effort. Specifically, we've been able to highlight Silver Falls, which is a perennial favorite park around here, as well as Wallowa Lake State Park, and a recent story around Milo McIver Park, which is closer to the Portland area and has had some really interesting updates for accessibility and inclusivity in recent years. So far, time on site is averaging about a minute 36 per visit, which is great and implies that people really are getting a chance to explore the stories that we are presenting for them. Another extension of this effort, we created a rather engaging trivia contest we called our Mystery Park contest that gave visitors and lottery customers a chance to win a really fantastic prize pack that included 50 State Park Centennial scratchets, a commemorative Pendleton blanket, a one-year State Parks pass, and some other State Parks branded merchandise. Encouraged users to read some of these stories and answer some fun questions about our state parks. It's been quite successful. We had over 33,000 entries over the 5-week content entry period. This has been a full multi-channel campaign with a digital focus, but also has assets appearing everywhere between digital, TV, radio, broadcast news, print, billboards, and all of our owned communication channels, both digitally and at retail. Throughout, we've been very mindful about the connection of lottery gameplay and the funding that supports the programs that Oregonians care about. What you're looking at here are some examples of some print advertisements that we partnered with for this. Again, these are efforts where we partnered very closely with Parks Department to pay special attention to our shared objectives. These print ads in particular are highlighting measures that Parks Department has taken to improve accessibility of Oregon state parks, as well as culturally relevant material amongst the various communities within our state. And furthering that conversation, being able to work very closely throughout this campaign, the lottery was able to have prominent placement and an article in the State Parks Guidebooks, which means that our messaging and our branding are being handed out and utilized by park visitors across the state, furthering the strength of our partnership. That does conclude my time here, unless there are any questions about the campaign. Thank you very much.
Thanks. With that, is there any other business? With that, this concludes today's meeting of the Oregon State Lottery Commission. The next meeting is scheduled on Thursday, August 25th. Thank you all for attending today's meeting. This meeting is now adjourned.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.